Radha Krishna Gopna Sam Kund Radha Kund की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, गुरु द्वारका धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, all glories to the all glories to the Thank you very much.
Krishna Gurudev, such my humble obeisances. Nice to see you. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Now it's Bhagavad Gita.
Yes,
Bhagavad
Maharaj.
Gita? I thought you were doing Bhagavatam.
Yeah,
you changed. Why did you change to Bhagavad Gita? Huh?
Yesterday was Bhagavatam, but today it's Bhagavad Gita.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I saw a bunch of them were Bhagavatam.
And that was only yesterday. But if you would like to speak on Bhagavatam, you can also.
Bhagavatam. You were speaking on Bhagavatam.
Yes. Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam is 186.
Well, which one? 186?
Yes.
Which do you want?
I'm opening the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Just tell me which one you want.
The Bhagavad Gita is okay on the verse 224.
Bhagavad Gita is always good. Okay.
224.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 24. Achedyo.
Achedyo.
Achedyo. Ayam.
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 Adayo.
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 Ayam.
Ayam.
Akledyo.
Akledyo.
Really? You're way behind me. What's going on? I say it and I don't hear you. Okay, don't respond.
Okay.
Akledyo shosha evacha nitya sarvagata. Haribol, don't you hear me? Just don't respond because it's coming like 10 minutes after I say it. Just let me say it, then someone else can say it. Achedyo yam adayo yam akledyo shosha evacha nitya sarvagata stanur achalo yam sanatanaha achedyo yam adayo yam akledyo shosha evacha nitya sarvagata stanur achalo yam sanatana achedyo yam adayo yam Aklejo Shosha Evacha Nitya Sarvagata Stanur Achaloyam Sanatana Achejoyam Madayoyam Aklejo Shosha Evacha Nitya Sarvagata Stanur Achaloyam Sanatana. Achejoyam Madayoyam Aklejo Shosha Evacha Nitya Sarvagata Stanur Achaloyam Sanatana. Okay, would someone else like to chant the verse?
Achedio yam ado yat yam akleyo sosya evacha nitya savagata hastano achalo yam sanatanaha.
Achedio yam adayo yam akledio sosya evacha nityam savagatanano achalo yam sanatana.
Achedio yam adaya yam akledio shoshya evacha nitya
Anyone
sarvagata
else?
tanur achalo yam sanatanaha.
Achedio yam ad ayo yaham akledio sasya evacha nitya sarvagata stanum achalo yam sanatana.
We are done, Gurudev. Gurudev, we are done. Looks like he has network problem.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama.
Haribol?
Yes, Gurudev. Yes, we are back.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. Yeah, my internet has been really weird today, last couple of days. Off and on constantly.
It's okay.
I'm trying to get back on the better one. Because this is just my.
Camera is on.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Can
Krishna.
you hear me
Guru.
now?
Yes, it's okay now.
Okay. So someone else chant, maybe it'll work this time.
Everybody has chanted.
I couldn't hear you properly.
Okay, we do again.
Okay. Word for word. Acheja,
Achedia,
unbreakable. I am
I am
this soul.
this soul.
Adaya,
Hadaya,
unable to be burned.
unable to be burned.
I am
I am
this soul.
this soul.
Akleja,
Akledia,
insoluble.
insoluble.
Ashosha,
Asosyaha,
not able to be dried.
not able to be dried.
Eva,
Ever,
certainly.
certainly.
Cha,
Cha,
and.
and
Nitya,
Nitya,
everlasting.
everlasting.
Sarvagata,
Savagataha,
all pervading.
all pervading.
Stanu,
Stanu,
unchangeable.
unchangeable.
Achala,
Achala,
immovable.
immovable.
I am
I am
this soul.
this soul.
Sanatana,
Sanatana,
eternally the same.
eternally the same.
Okay, translation. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can neither be dried or burned. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Purport. All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally, without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. The word sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there's no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land and the water and the air, within the earth and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also on the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Om Gana Timirandasya Ganandana Shalakaya Chakshura Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shite Tanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sajajatam Sahaganaha Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna
Kumaraj is really having a lot of network problem. He went off again online today.
Okay, sorry, I got cut off again. Now I'm back. Different machine. You hear me?
Yes, Gurudev, can hear you.
Haribol?
Yes, we are hearing you. It's okay now.
Okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunivadi Paschatya Desatarane Panchakalpatabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Panchakalpatabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatte Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari. So if we really realize this, those are the people that are fearless. They're not afraid of death. They're not afraid of anything because they know this kind of soul. And, right? And so Kshatriya knows if he dies fighting bravely, then he goes to heaven. And if he wins fighting bravely, then he gets all the kingdom of whoever he fights. So therefore, he likes to fight. He's not afraid of death, therefore he can fight like fearlessly. And just one humorous aspect, this will help me. I never thought of this before, that I am means the soul. I never heard that. I am. This around here where I am, the word I am means chicken. So every time we go down the road, I am everywhere, because there's restaurants everywhere. So now I can think of Krishna when I see that, instead of thinking what it means here. Backwards it says Maya. For them that I am is Maya. For us, I am is the soul. And if we really realize and think I'm a soul, that's when, if someone insults the body, insults your, we don't care so much because it's not me. It's a covering of the soul. Of course, if we're acting against Krishna, then it's different. But, we're trying to be devotees. So the soul is everywhere, sarvagata. And, they keep going to other planets, supposedly. It's another interesting phenomena of the materialist. Everybody believes in Star Wars and Star Trek and science fiction and all kinds of civilizations on other planets. And so many movies and books. At the same time, so-called science is always teaching that there's no life anywhere, only here. At the same time, they say that we're going to move you to other planets where there's no life, there's no water, there's no air, it's 200 degrees plus in the day and 200 degrees minus at night, all kinds of things. And people believe it and fund them. It's a quite amazing thing. But we have understanding. We know from scripture, we have descriptions of all these demigods and rakshasas, and we know there's life in so many different places, under the ground, in the water, And depending on the type of body, we can't live in the water, but a fish can live very easily. Fish can't live out of the water. And some animals that can live in the water for some time, but they have to come out and breathe. You know, they can stay underwater for some time, but they can't live there really. They can't live just in the water. And we need water to live, but we can't live in the water. So Krishna's provided everything for everybody, but we're not using it properly. We're not distributing it properly. We're exploiting. Some people are taking so much more than they need, greedy, and other people don't have as much as they need because someone else took it. So now, you know, everybody knows it's a very unbalanced situation. That the very, very rich people own most of the land, most of the money. The rest of the people are in debt for everything they have. And the banks are pushing us to get more in debt. Don't worry, we'll loan you this. We'll give you a new credit card. You can buy a new car. All you have to do is sign your name for the next 10 years, you know. And people are crazy. They're going for it. So we have a real obligation, you know, that we've been saved. We know better. So we have to make an effort to stay out from that madness and, you know, develop our inner life, our spiritual life, our connection with Krishna and the spiritual world and all these things, which is right there. It's right there in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything is there. The soul is not born, he doesn't die. There's a whole section here you're reading in chapter 2. When I teach Bhagavad Gita in China, I was teaching a lot to yoga people that more or less never heard of Bhagavad Gita before. But the first thing I did always was read these chapters and say, this is what you really are, you know. And everybody, they like that, you know. Even though we all think we're the body, but we like to know what we really are, you know. But then not only did Bhakti Yoga teach us, okay, you're eternal, you know, some Mayavadis can realize that also, that they're not the body and become fully aloof from bodily urges, give up all sense gratification and up to the point of even eating and sleeping and breathing practically. But they don't know what to do. They don't know what the soul is. So they're just stuck there in the nirvana, or in the, you know, in the comic books, they call it the negative world, or, you know, something like that, where they put the prisoners, and, you know, the science fiction, you know, they have some advanced way of throwing someone out into the Brahmajyoti, where there's no association and nothing to do, but they're alive. There's no suffering actually either. But people want to come back because, but the soul by nature is sentient. It wants to do something. We want to have association. You know, we want to ultimately have association with Krishna. So that's what we work on. So Prabhupada, just amazing what Prabhupada did. The more I think about it, now we're supposed to be, I just sent a notice. I hope every temple, and I sent it long ago, every temple in West Africa will send a Vyas Puja offering for Srila Prabhupada. The deadline is on the 15th. So it's only how many days? 6 more days. Something like that. So please, every temple, send one so we can show that there's life in the dark continent. And we can take some time to remember Srila Prabhupada's unlimited mercy. Now, he not only, you know, lived a life, he showed us, just like Lord Chaitanya came, he showed how to serve Krishna, how to remember Krishna, how to feel separation. He did it. How to go on Sankirtan, how to chant your, you know, how to do puja, how to go to the temple regularly. and worship the deity. And Prabhupada did the same thing up until the last minutes of his life. He gave us, who we are and what we should be doing and how to do it and the facility to do it, making a whole society, giving us deities so that we can have a relationship with Krishna, something we can see and touch, It's a really incredible thing. So we want to really get deeply into that, really think about it. And teaching us, we're all, spirit souls. We're not these bodies, and it doesn't matter. The bodies are not that much different. The skin is different. The shape of the nose is different. The different things are different. Like in the World War II, they had a thing for the Americans, how to know if you captured a Chinese man or a Japanese man. So even though, to most of us, the Japanese and Chinese look the same, but Japanese have shorter legs and a longer top part, proportionately, than we do. They have longer intestines. It's in that way they're different. Like I'll be sitting on a train with the Japanese, and they might be the same height as me or a little taller. And when we stand up, I'm taller. So that's, kind of confusing at first. But otherwise, what's the difference? An African has a little bit darker skin, different curly hair, and so many want to change that. I was with Draupadi, Prahlad's daughter. Her hair was straight down. I thought it was a wig, She said, no, this is my natural hair. I said, how did you get it like that, She said, well, I have this hot thing and stretch it out, In the West, those things are called a curling iron. And the women with straight hair, they wrap their hair around that and try to make it curly. So, it's all just everybody trying to change their body. And when that time was up in this body, we had to change. Who knows what we're going to get? We can't put in an order. Okay, Krishna, this is what I want. I want like this, and I want to be so tall, and I want to have this family, and I want to be in this country. No, we'll end up somewhere because Krishna knows all our desires and all our karmas and everything. As a super soul, he's been there for many lifetimes. But Krishna doesn't care. Lord Chaitanya, Bhaktisiddhanta explained, he had devotees take birth all over the world in all kinds of conditions. Because if devotees were only from rich families, only from Brahminical families, then the mass of people would think, well, I can't do it. I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not rich, I'm not, Indian or whatever it was. But so he had us take birth in Malacha American families and African families and Brahmin families and, criminal families everywhere. So we could preach to everybody. It's part of Lord Chaitanya's plan. And we should be really happy with whatever opportunity we have that we're able to join Lord Chaitanya's movement and try to, the more we preach this, Prabhupada was asked, how do I know that Krishna's in everyone's heart? He said, keep reading Bhagavad Gita. Just keep following the process. Krishna will reveal himself. How do we even know Krishna's in my heart? We'll pray to him, help me, and he will. He's always helping us. He's always guiding us. If we could really surrender like Prabhupada, then, Prabhupada don't have to think or plan it. Like somebody had been with Prabhupada a lot, Ramaswami, he said, Prabhupada never studied anything, but he knew everything. Whatever came up, Prabhupada knew exactly how to do it. So many examples. In the construction of the temples, he knew so much. He knew accounting, he knew everything. Just simple example, like he had that dictaphone, for translating. And Garga Muni, he was a pretty smart guy, he he bought it. He saw it in the store and he thought, he asked the guy, he said, yeah, this is good for translating. And Gagamuni spent more than an hour in the store to learn how to use it. And he had the book and everything. And he gave it to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada took it in his hand, and Gagamuni said, Prabhupada, I can teach you how to use it. Prabhupada just started using it. He just started using it. He kept using it. And his speed of translating increased like so much. The devotees had a hard time to keep up with him. But, that's the way he was with everything. So he's not the ordinary person. Krishna is a supreme mystic, Yogeshwara. Today I was just studying this, when Lord Brahma came to Dwarka to visit Krishna. I don't know what kind of, what reason he had. So he shrunk himself down, I guess, to normal size, came to the door, and the doorman said, who's there? And he said, Lord Brahma. So he went and told Krishna, Lord Brahma's come to see you. Krishna said, which Lord Brahma? So he went back and said, the Lord wants to know which Lord Brahma. What do you mean, which Lord Brahma? I'm Lord Brahma, the four-headed Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. There's no other Lord Brahmas. So he told Krishna, and Krishna said, okay, let him in. So he came in and he bowed down and he greeted Krishna. And then Krishna called Lord Brahmas from all the universes, millions of universes. Some of them had 10 heads, 100 heads, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million. And they were all in Krishna's room. These gigantic Lord Brahmas, all in his one room. That's Krishna. We might say, well, that's impossible. Lord Brahma could see all of them, so he felt like a tiny little creature then, and his pride was smashed. That's how Krishna helps us. If we get proud, he'll find a way to help us. He does it to me all the time, but it's quite embarrassing sometimes. He's trying to help us. So, and all the other Lord Brahmas could only, they didn't know. They thought, I'm the only one here with Krishna. And Krishna asked everybody, how is it going in your universe? And everybody said, very good, by Krishna's grace. And then they all left. And then Lord Brahma bowed down and left in a humble state of mind. So that's Krishna. He can have, every cowherd boy had koti, millions of calves in the little tiny Vrindavan, Braj. How it's not physically possible because it's not physical, it's a spiritual world, which is unlimited. And we want to keep hearing about it so that we can gradually understand that there really is such. It's a little easier to start thinking about the soul, and we see like all these examples. Everybody knows something by intrinsic, if your father dies, you say, my father's gone. Most people, I don't know, all the Christians in Africa say he's gone to heaven. Do they say that? That's what they say in America. Oh, he's gone to heaven. Everybody goes automatically to heaven. You know better. He's gone somewhere anyway. They'll say they don't believe in reincarnation. I tell them, well, that's another body. You go to heaven. It's different. Some of them think they go in the same body, but they buried the body. How can they be there with it in heaven? They don't ever think anybody went to hell, except their enemies. But, you can not only go to hell, you can go to animal life, you can go to a bird or insect. You can go and take birth in America and be a white man if that's what you want. The Africans who are bleaching their skin and dyeing their hair all the time. If they're pious and not sinful, then they can take birth as a white man. Maybe an albino, and they won't like that either. But the white man who just wants to get a suntan and is always trying to get a suntan, then they might take birth as an African, Indian, or some kind of other, dark-skinned person, But more likely, most people nowadays, they're going to take birth in the lower species. They're killing so many animals, they have to suffer for it. And we're trying, like Magari, like Namuni was able to help Magari, by somehow he showed him like a vision, kind of telling him, all these animals you're torturing, they're going to come back and torture you in the next life. That's the hell, the Maha Rorab, the animal killers, all the animals that they ever tortured will come and eat them and eat them and eat them. The body never finishes, all it's just pain and agony. But they never finish, they never die like you would if animals are eating you now, you wouldn't live very long. If a pack of dogs came and started eating you, you wouldn't live very long. But in the hell you do, you live and live and live and you never die. You just suffer. So somehow he scared Magari, and Magari, because he had some respect for Narada Muni, saintly person, he changed, became a saintly person. Just like all of you. He started chanting, and somehow if you look back now, the devotees have been devotees for many years. Somehow you've been eating and sleeping and living and going to India once in a while, or even America, and having children, and they're growing up, in spite of the fact that, you didn't get a job in a big company, or you didn't become a big politician or something, you didn't get rich. Somehow we're living. It's because Krishna maintains everyone. Is that right? Who's that sitting in this big, big church? Sahadev. You become a pastor? Huh? Such a big church, but it's empty.
No, Maharaj, it's just a backdrop.
Okay. So, do you have any of your difficult questions today?
Maharaj, thank you very much. I would like to seek your blessings on my son. I just wanted to remind you, you named him Kirtan Ras.
Really?
You named him Kirtan Ras, and now by your mercy, Krishna's mercy, he's grown to become a young man. He just turned 21 last week. So I would like to seek your blessing for him. He is on the forum. Kirtan, if you can turn on your video, so Maharaj sees you. Okay, this is Kirtan Ras Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I hear a voice, but I don't hear the... Okay, are you happy as a 21-year-old in America? Difficult times for that age.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of opportunity. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity within this time. All right. What are you doing?
I'm currently in college.
Where?
At Hack.
Where?
It's called Hack. Harrisburg Community College.
Oh, all right. Good. What are you studying?
Nursing.
Oh, following daddy, huh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of job opportunity in nursing, I heard, right?
Yeah, there is.
I know a lot of devotees do it. A lot of the Mayapur graduates went to different countries and they become nurses.
Mm.
And they like to get into administrative nursing, so they don't have to do all the dirty work. Yeah. Okay. I give you all my blessings, whatever it's worth. I ask everyone to bless me also. I'm an old man, I need help.
Thank you
I
very
mean,
much, Maharaj.
even when you're young, bodies have various miseries, right? But, the older you get, the more it gets heavy. Okay? Anyone
Thank you very much.
else? Any question or any comment? Everybody understands? You're not that body. We're all pure spirit. Devotees had a song sometime back. We're all pure spirits. So the body's just a lump of flesh, destined to get old. Destined to get old.
A good day, I have one question.
Very good song. Yeah.
The question is, you mentioned that we don't we don't choose which body will be in our next life. A devotee can become anything, take birth in any planet. But what about the power of devotional service that guarantees a devotee not to take birth in the lower species? It
Now
looks
that's
like
it for devotee, it's different. But I say you can't pick out exactly what body you're going to do. You can't, like if you're going to buy a car, you can go to the company and you can tell them, I want this color and I want this model and you can't choose your body like that. But that's why we try to be devotees so we don't have to get another material body. But even then, Krishna decides, how we're going to serve him in the spiritual world. That's not our choice either. You don't tell Krishna, I want to be a gopi. I want to be a gopi, make me a gopi. I'm chanting every day. No, we just try to be a servant of Krishna. Whatever he gives us, we take it.
Thank you.
But the ordinary person, they can't make an order like, they don't go to a shop and there's a big catalog and you pick out the body. People think they can do it. Except most people don't believe they're going to take another. There are people who do believe that. There are people that think, I'll take birth again, but I'm pious, I'm doing good work, so it'll be another good birth and I can just go on enjoying the material world forever. Birth after birth. Dangerous.
Thank you, Gurudev. Our next question is from George Amega. George, please unmute.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Okay, Maharaj, my question is, okay, it's a personal question. Maharaj, I would like to know, anytime I intensify my devotional service, something tragedy has to happen. Then I have to come back to square one. So I'm afraid to intensify my devotional service. So I would like you to help me a little bit as to how I should go about it. That is my question, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
You're afraid of what? Intensifying your service?
Yes, anytime I try to intensify my devotional service, something tragedy has to happen. Then I have to come back to square one. So this time around, I'm afraid to intensify my devotional service. So I need a
What do you mean by
intense?
What do you mean by intensify your?
Okay, by preaching. Well, let me put it that way. Whenever I put my energies in preaching, then something has to happen. They have to come back because sometimes you need Lakshmi. Something has to happen. Then the whole thing calm down. Then I have to come and start from square one. So that.
Well, that's what happens. Prabhupada had many setbacks.
Put that
you
kind
just
of
try it again.
Yeah.
You just try it again and again. That's every effort you make, there's no loss or diminution. As far as spiritual progress is meant, material progress is another thing. If we have some definite idea, I'm going to get this result or that result, we may not get that. We may get something different. Krishna is giving us what's good for us. So just, and, stick with the basics. keep your sadhana really good, you know, and then the other things will follow. That's, you know, that's the basis. First things, japa, you know, and then reading something every day, associating, serving, but keep your sadhana good, you know, get up early, chant japa, if you're at a temple, attend the program, you know, do some service, and everything else will fall into space, into line.
Thank you, Maharaj. Krishna Prabhu has to attend to something, so he has asked me to moderate on his behalf.
Okay.
Anyone have a question? Okay, Sahadev Prabhu's hand is up. Sahadev Prabhu, please can you unmute and ask a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have this concern. I'm not sure if it is an appropriate or legitimate concern, but I have this concern that if care is not taken, we could have different sects coming out of ISKCON and bring friction. And so I've been wondering if, especially now that we still have some of Srila Prabhupada's direct disciples here with us on earth, if there is anything the disciples can come together to make it like a lifetime knowledge or system that nobody can change, because I actually watched you on one of this, I've forgotten the name of the Prabhu, but the topic was Srila Prabhupada, our preeminent guru, which is like trying to establish that whoever comes after Srila Prabhupada is still the fountainhead that we all look up to. And so that's just my concern. If there is anything in place to make sure that somebody would not come back later on and try to make so much drastic changes in ISKCON and change ISKCON. Hare Krishna.
Well, many things we're trying to do, and there's many people trying to screw it up also. But that's why Prabhupada left so many books and so many lectures and so many letters. And what's in place is so many classes and so many trying to teach the next generation as much as possible to stick with Prabhupada. You know, he's given us everything in his books. He said that so many times. We don't need to go outside spiritually. Materially, if you want to learn how to program a computer, of course, you need to go to that school. Nursing, you need to go to that school. But for spiritual, how to utilize whatever material you have, whatever schooling you have, or whatever money you have, or whatever ability you have, Prabhupada teaches how to utilize it for a good purpose for everybody. So many things are tried, and you know, we're just trying to set up more and more things. And now they have this GBC college, hoping, and there are many second generation who are really in line and really dedicated, and you know, really know what Prabhupada is up to and carrying on. You know, like Russia, you know, devotees did so many things. Devotees are doing amazing things, second generation. The Africans, you know, how many Prabhupada, just Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was coming. He was the only Prabhupada, just Brahmananda for a little while, and Upananda, and then little old me. He didn't have much, you know, but somehow you're developing and developing. children are coming out devotees. You just have to stick with Prabhupada. Not all of Prabhupada's disciples are strictly following Prabhupada. Some of them are just busy attacking ISKCON, all kinds of things. But Prabhupada set everything up and he gave us all the guidance. So please take shelter. Just keep studying the books. And the letters, very important, the conversations, everything is available. Prabhupada was very careful to preserve it. It's a miracle, that with all his traveling and, almost all his lectures are preserved. A few that got cut off because of the batteries or because of the tape got ruined or something. But a miracle that all these things got saved and got put in one place and are all archived and transcribed and, so it's accessible much more than we had access when Prabhupada was on the planet. Now, you all the devotees now who are coming, the children, everybody has access to everything Prabhupada said and did, and all the memories, that so many devotees have of Prabhupada. One very important thing I just heard, because this morning in a class, somebody was asking, what should we think of when we're chanting? Do we have to think of the form of Krishna? Should we think of the two-arm form or the Chinese? Or should we think of the four-arm form? And, really going out there. And I kept saying, you just have to think about the Hare Krishna, these 16 syllables, however many there are. Really, there's only Hare, that's Hare, 2, Krishna, that's 3, Rama. There's only 6 different syllables, and then just put them together. And then I just heard Malati's memories, and somebody was talking about what Prabhupada said about kirtan and how he likes drums because they make people dance, and he doesn't like melodious kirtan so much. Nowadays we have all this sit-down, la-di-da, fancy kirtan. Prabhupada never did that. It was dancing, jumping. And then she said, she was in the very beginning, and they were asking Prabhupada about chanting, what should we do, I said, don't do anything. You just hear with your ear and you chant with your tongue, that's all. Just chant, just hear the holy name. So she said she's been trying to do that ever since. That's all there is to it, You don't want to complicate everything. That's the basis. If we try so many other things, but we don't try to really focus on the holy name in prayer, Krishna, please engage me in your service, and think and try to get into that kind of mood and pray and cry for Krishna. And then all the other things will work because Super Soul will guide everybody to stay in line. Already there's been so many different groups. Right after Lord Chaitanya, so many Sahaji groups popped up. The reputation of the Chaitanya Bhaktas went way down. People thought they were just crazy and everything. And then Bhakti Vinod, started preaching proper and revived it. And now it's going very good again. And so we all have to behave properly and, respect everybody for wherever they stand in their religion and try to inspire people to take up at least the religious principles, ahimsa, nonviolence. I heard there's a lot of, I don't know if Nigeria is as bad as Charlie Boy says, is it? Huh? Salika? Haribol? Anybody there? Haribol? I don't hear anything.
Yeah, Maharaj, we can hear you.
I think Kusha is back.
Okay. Anyway, so, all right. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
George Omega?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, Maharaj, I would like to know. There is a text in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter 4, verse number 9. Why Srila Prabhupada mentioning specifically that deer and goats are animals prescribed for human consumption? And here in your statement, right now, you're preaching, you made mention that when you eat any flesh, the
Well, why are
animals
you
will
always
come.
looking for, no, wait a minute. See, why do you want to look for contradiction in, you know, because there are people who are meat eaters.
Okay.
There will always will be. So those are the animals for the meat-eating humans, not cows. That's the point.
Yeah.
Not that humans should be eating meat, but there will always be a class of humans who are eating meat. You know, some of them are, you know, jungle people, and they live by hunting. So their karma is not so bad. They're like animal that kills to eat. They're not killing just for profit and fame like Western people are. So there's even, you know, Ayurvedic prescriptions for certain diseases. You eat certain meat because that's for the people that only eat meat. It's not for everybody. It's not for the ordinary people, for the vegetarian people. That's why. So it's probably a valid question, but we have to be careful.
Okay. Okay.
So many apparent contradictions, but they all have, there's all a reason. All of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So like that means we're not supposed to eat chickens and, you know, the meat-eating humans, they should stick with deer and goats and things like that. And even the little more civilized meat-eating people who do a yagya, only goats, you know,
Okay.
not other animals. So that's meant to make sure that they don't eat cows. But the people that live in the jungle, there's no cows anyway. But sometimes if there's a drought or something, then they come into the village and kill whatever they can find. But
So,
all right,
so they will not find face the consequences, right?
they will. You know, that's their karma. This is the
Okay.
society they're born in.
Okay.
That when devotees was in Iran and they said, you know, in the desert, there's these people that live in the desert and they keep sheep, and most of the time there's nothing for them to eat except the sheep meat. There's just some bushes that only the sheep can eat. That way they have to climb up the mountains and everything. And if they somehow get near a village or a town, they get some vegetables and stuff. Prabhupada said, well, don't tell them they have to be vegetarian. Just tell them to chant Hare Krishna.
Okay.
You know, we have to be sensitive. You know, you have to preach to people according to time and
Yes.
circumstance.
Okay. Okay.
So we don't want to just barge in and tell everybody, you know, you're like, you're going to go to hell, you're going to burn, you're killing animals. No, chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam. That's why we want to distribute prasadam. Distribute prasadam, let people want more of that. And chant Hare Krishna while you distribute it. So that's going on now to some extent, and I hope it increases. And make a lot of friends by it also, right?
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
And it's Lord Chaitanya's program, you know, distribute prasadam. We love to distribute. He wanted to make sure everybody got prasadam, you know, all the beggars, everybody, the dogs, nobody's left. Even Krishna, Govardhan, the same thing. So that's what we want to do. We want everyone to get prasadam. We don't care if they're Muslims or Christians or demons or, you know, drunkards or, you know, animal killers or politicians. We'd love for them, everybody to eat. All right?
Okay, thank you,
very
Maharaj.
much.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. I don't know if you still have some few minutes. I was just wanting to ask a question, Maharaj, if you can still accommodate another question. There's no more hands up for now. But if you permit me, I just wanted to share some concern and then hear your concept. Maharaj,
I got a few words of, yeah. Yes, sir.
okay, I wanted to share some concern I'm having, and just a little bit close to Sadh's public question, but in a little bit different way. I've been looking at the development of Krishna consciousness globally, and especially in West Africa. The rate of people joining the movement is not as it was in the last decades. And I'm wondering what we can do differently to, even those who are devotees are not attracted to regular devotional activities. We've had this platform for some time. Devotees don't come here. A guru is speaking. We can understand if another devotee is speaking, maybe because somebody doesn't like or something, but the spiritual master is speaking and the devotees are not interested to listen. So I'm wondering what we can do to increase the patronage to ISKCON and increase the population of our congregation. And probably those who are, we have more than 2,000, to be precise, we have maybe 5,000, more than 5,000 initiated devotees in West Africa. And most of the time we have only 12, 13 people here on this platform. And I don't believe all
You
of
have
them
how
are
many initiated?
As at the last count, I know we have more than 2,000 as at maybe about 10 years ago. And there's been so many initiations after that. So I don't know, maybe
There haven't been so many, but well, many of them are not even in West Africa anymore. Many of them have fallen down. So, you know, I don't know if you really, I think in the early days, there was a lot of, you know, Bhakti Tirtha finally started getting more strict because so many were leaving, you know. So, but that's, you know, like I read one guy, he's a Christian and he's developed a huge congregation. He was a pastor in a church and he said he was spending more time trying to get people back than he could to, you know, to preach to people. He was trying to rescue people that were leaving the church, you know, spending more time with that. And so he finally just quit. And, you know, his wife was not happy because it was his job, you know. And he thought about it and he thought about it. And then he made up this thing that it's something like the Bhakti Vriksha, something like the cell church. You get a group of 12 people who all have the same mindset, the same goal, and, you know, and you start meeting, and every one of them is meant to get trained up to go and make 12 more groups. And he's ended up with, starting from his house, at the time I read the book, members. He's doing something really amazing. You know, it's radio went all over the world, and now, you know, he's making moves, but he's also, you know, getting a lot of people.
It seems Maharaj's video got frozen.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the networks are not respecting it, even the
Yeah.
spiritual master. Yeah, let's hope Maharaj comes back soon.
Yeah. But Salika Prabhu, thank you. That was a very, very important question. So we hope Maharaj comes back and then blesses us with his insight as to how we can help improve things.
It's been a real serious concern in my heart. And
yeah.
And I think Maharaj started by saying something which is very interesting. He was talking about how like-minded people come together and they try to start expanding things. And I think it works.
Yes.
I think it does work.
Yeah, I'm back. So
Okay.
That's the idea. That's what Bhakti Vriksha is all about. You know, and somebody came with the, Namhata congregational preaching. You all came to the class. Everybody was first class, and nobody followed up. Gonteya came. Different people come, and all the Africans come, and they're really good in the class, and they're really first class, and then nobody takes it up because tapasya, and so if you can get a group like this of a few people and get them, lined up so they want to do something, which, and it is happening. People, I see like a few temples where these young boys are taking over, there's new life. You have to, but that's why, one thing that was neglected was devotee care. So many devotees were kicked out for so many years, right? By the time I came, the temples were mostly almost empty. And devotees have been kicked out for one reason or another. Many of them had joined also just because in the early days, the temples had a lot of money. The Indians were supporting very nicely. And all of a sudden, economy crashed in Nigeria and the Indians weren't supporting, and they got mad. They couldn't live luxuriously anymore. They started criticizing everything and left. So many crazy things. This Kali Yuga, we're getting, so, but we can pick the whole world. In some places, people are joining, not just Indians. In some countries, in India, of course, it's incredible, but in Russia, still they're coming, and Eastern Europe, quite good, and South America. But they've all had their ups and downs with governments and economies, and so we had those material setbacks, and now you got, like I was asked somebody if Nigeria is really as bad as Charlie Boy says, right?
Yes, Maharaj. I think the video is hang again. So we'll wait a little bit for Maharaj to come back, but I think he has given us some clue.
Yeah.
And I think I will have to make some moves. We've discussed this about some few times.
Okay, Salika Prabhu,
Yes.
I'm looking at, isn't that it's a coincidence of program also? Because as we are speaking now, His Holiness Bhakti Dira Damodara is also having a program on Facebook. So some may choose to attend to his class also. So that is the angle that I'm looking at also. So we should check on that also and see.
Yeah, you are right, perfectly right. The fact is that there is no cohesion in West Africa. Most of the leaders, I'm one of those who are identified as leaders in the movement of West Africa. But the fact is that we're not working together, and I think that's a big challenge. You're right. Divided interest. But then Maharaj is back. So.
Okay.
I'm really having a lot of trouble with my internet.
Yes.
So it's pretty difficult. I don't know why the company, those things happen.
Yep.
So I was using my phone, but I don't know what happened. That quit. And then now I got the computer on again, but that's quit like 3 times already. So the thing is, this is very small group this time. Sometimes we have a lot more. But, it's the middle of the day.
We're not hearing Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he went off again. The network went off again. Yeah, some days the network are just crazy like that. So
Yes. Salanka Prabhu, I was thinking that if probably we could fix a date or time and probably have some sort of Ishtagoshti and have this topic as the theme, which will be held on Zoom but not streamed live, because now it's streamed live on YouTube, which will be like a family gathering, brainstorming to see what we could do.
yeah, you're right. I was going to suggest something like that. So I think after this class, I'll shout you up, and
Okay.
I think it's not. This is we'll have to start small, like Maharaj said. We'll
Yeah.
start with a smaller group, and then gradually we'll see how we can expand it. It's just to get the like-minded people
Yeah.
together, because one of the greatest challenges that Maharaj spoke about some few ISKCON areas where there are developments. Like in Russia, like in India, the
Yeah.
setting are different, but it's not unique to only West Africa. I know
Yeah.
North America also, there is so much of challenge there. Some few places in the world also there are challenges,
Yeah.
but it's normal in material world. There will always be some challenges, but the important thing is that we all have to start thinking how to. That is a responsibility we have taken. That is a vow we have taken as a devotee. So we have to constantly think about what we can do to improve things. And I think Dhango Prashad Prabhu is also here. So maybe after this class, I will chat you up and then few other devotees.
All right.
Let's see what we can put together.
Okay.
But maybe we'll wait another 2-3 minutes for Maharaj. If it's not able to come back, then I think we'll have to end the class.
Okay.
But before then, Prabhu, you see, the last Istagosi that we had, some of the devotees who have been attending the regular program didn't attend. So I took the trouble to ask them why most of them, they didn't attend the Istagosi. Most of them told me that when they come on the platform, it's the same stuff they are going to hear. So I don't think the Istagosi too, they will attend. So that's my concern also. So we should look at that also.
I think it was in 2012. Maharaj just repeated what he told me almost about a decade ago. There was a program in Ghana. No, I think it was 2010. Yes, it was in 2010. In Ghana, we had a program. I think it was Ratha Yatra program. And then I spoke with Maharaj one-on-one. And I posed the same concern to him. And then he told me directly that the same thing is said now. He said it in different way, but the essence is that just if you have this personal concern and passion to see that things develop, try to go on your small and then try to attract other people to join you.
Okay.
And I think he has just repeated the same thing. And that is actually what always happened. If you look back at our tradition, Srila Prabhupada also was a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And then eventually, whatever Prabhupada did to work with his god brother was never a success until he has to. So sometimes, I think one of my god brothers also, I was discussing this, and he told me, he said, West African Yatra will grow, but it may not just grow the way we are looking at it now. It may have a different dimension, because obviously the way it is now, it will be very difficult actually to expand things, because there's already some kind of mindset that is stopping things. So, but anyway, we all are concerned. So that is the most important thing. And Krishna is seeing our hearts. So, and I'm sure it will reciprocate. It will empower few individuals who will be able to, but it is good that we should also be concerned and trying to see how we can develop it, because that is the responsibility that we have. I think on this note, I want to end this class. If all of you agree with me, even though Maharaj is not here, let us all unmute and chant one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then we can end the class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Thank you all devotees for joining the class. We look forward to seeing you in the next class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.